What's up, guys? It's Banwell, and I'm back again today, bringing you guys some more Wind Walker Monk PvP footage. I'm going to be trying to give you guys some tutorials of how you set up your kills in 2s and in 3s. I know one of the things you guys asked me is for full-length games, so I'm going to try to be showing a lot of those today. And people have been asking me for more 3s content. I'm trying to come up with 3s content. Unfortunately, I don't have 3s queues. Just like everybody else in this game, the game's dead. It's hard to find people to play with. But we try to make our best. That's why I have a lot of 2s footage, and I'll try to get as much 3s footage as I can. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Make sure you check out the stream, twitch.tv/BanwellX, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. This first game, we're fighting Shadow Play as Triple Monk, Mistweaver, Wind Walker. Shadow Play is a pretty common comp. You see it a lot on the ladder. Triple Monk, not so common, however, and isn't necessarily the greatest comp, but when played properly can work. It's pretty hard to kill you, but it's also hard to get CC. However, we do have enough instant cast CC, as you'll see towards the end of this game, to land us some kills. Early on, we're just staying alive. We're pressuring the Destro lock. Double Windwalker does a lot of damage, especially with Tiger Eye Brew into a Destro. We have 2 kicks. We have 3 ringer pieces, so it's really hard for them to get damage off. I sweep the lock on the end of his Dark Soul here, and we're just pressuring. Burning through this Mistweaver's mana as fast as we can. Notice he's at 50% mana already. So now with no trinket, 50% mana, the lock still has wall, but we know we have a win condition. No one on their team has trinket, so if we have cross CC, they can't life swap, they can't cocoon, and the lock should just die. We incap the Shadow Priest here. I roll through the first Chaos Bolt, but he gets ropped on it. I don't have a rop for their rop, neither does my Windwalker. The double coils come out. We're a little bit defensive here. Staying in on the Destro lock, trying to keep as much pressure as we can. We're not too concerned with a Destro lock without CDs. In gets leg sweeped here, so I fly, set up my one-shot on the Mistweaver Monk, nearly die, Karma and Cocoon overlap, and we're unable to kill the Mistweaver here. I believe Life Swap comes out from the Shadow Priest and keeps him alive here. And now we're back onto the Destro lock. So with no swap available now, we're able to kill this Destro as long as we get wall out of the way. Mistweaver has trinket rotating back up, so we're not going to play too offensive here. We know we have to stay alive for long enough. But both the Windwalkers and I are just, the other Windwalker and I are both just sitting on the Destro, keeping up our damage. Meta goes in for CC on the healer and gets CC'd. I port to the room, spam heals again. Very similar to it was last time. I just spam through these heals, spam through these claws with my Revivifies behind the pillar and top myself off. I come back out with their Mistweaver at 30% mana. Their lock has no trinket. Their Shadow Priest has no trinket, so we know we have a win condition soon. I have Leg Sweep coming up here pretty soon, and I know my other Monk has Leg Sweep available now in 5 seconds. So once we have our Leg Sweeps, we're going to look to set up our next kill condition. I try to roll out a line. I sprint myself, spam out some heals on my teammate, but I see his Karma, so I'm not too concerned. Start line of sighting again. He lands a double sweep. I incap the Mistweaver on the double sweep. I start doing my damage. He trinkets. Meta hits the incap into my triple leg, into Metaphor's triple leg sweep, and we're able to land the kill without leg swap being pressed. I thought they leg swapped in the Cocoon, but after looking at my Omnibar, I realized they had not. And because we have the triple CC there with the triple leg sweep from Metaphors off the incap, we're able to kill them without getting the Cocoon off. It's a pretty clean setup from us, and it's a pretty easy way for us to win that game. This game, we're fighting the Bane of BFA, double Destro lock. Lucky enough, they're not playing with a Holy Paladin, they're playing with a Resto Druid, so we do have a win condition. What we're trying to do in this game is get one of the locks with no unending resolve and the Druid with no Ironbark, and then we're going to both use our offensive pressure, hopefully with a CC on the Druid to land ourselves a kill. I've walked through this clip, and the way it ends is quite nice for us and looks pretty flashy as well. So we're going to start off here, double Rop, forcing the port away from us. Double Rop, as I refer to it, playing ping pong, knocks them back and forth so they can't cast. After they walk back out, we start to get our pressure back up on the lock. They press Ironbark on our leg sweep, so rather than waste all of our damage into Ironbark, we swap to the other Destro lock and put our damage there. You'll notice here that not pumping into this Ironbark makes the Druid use Overgrowth onto the other lock and spends almost 10% of his mana just to swap his Hots around. This is absolutely huge for us. After this Sphere, we know that we have no Ironbark, they have no Dark Souls, and they're not playing Coil, so we have a lot of time to get pressure here. We push in on this lock, my other Monk uses his images, I incap the Druid, Metaphors drops his Rop to knock the lock on his cast, gets the leg sweep off, and we force out Unending Resolve. Now that they have no Unending Resolve, they have Ironbark rotating back up, but the Druid is unable to top his lock here. We're going to look for a roll kick here to end the game on this Nourish. Kick the Nourish cast, fly back over. My other monk uses his Dressgath trinket, and down goes the Destro Lock. The roll kick there looks a little flashy, but the Druid's out of position, hard casting close enough to me that I can land the kick easily, and that 4-second CC where he's locked out is enough for us to land the kill. In this clip, I'm playing Disc Priest Windwalker into Disc Priest Assassin Rogue, one of the more common comps you'll fight in 2s, and I'll show you exactly how I set up our kill. I had to zoom out my camera at the start of this game because it bugged in the loading screen somehow, but I zoom it out in this sap and we're ready to go. They open on my Priest, so I know I want to peel for him. I roll into line of sight. I disarm the Rogue as soon as I can, pre-disarm the blind, but trinket it anyways. I root the Rogue here, get half feared. He doesn't need to dispel this so he doesn't get clawed. I root the Rogue. I root the Shadow Fiend as well. I'm going to give my teammate a sprint and then dispel his poisons, and you see him move super quick around the pillar here to get out of line of sight. The Rogue trinketed the root, so I'm going to rop him out of line of sight, leg sweep him here, big Fist of Fury, incap the Priest when he comes in line. I actually use my globals for damage there rather than the incap, which is probably a mistake. If I had incapped, they wouldn't have gotten the Rapture Shield off and we may have killed. But anyways, we've gotten a lot of pressure here, force Trinket and Rapture. The Priest is free casting, so I incap him on it, keeping my damage up on the Rogue. My Priest could look for a fear at any moment, but he's staying back, playing defensive, waiting for the Step Kidney. I get feared, it breaks instantly. I root the Rogue into a disarm. I'm going to sprint my healer here in a second again. He gets the double fear. I can give him a sprint here to get away from the Rogue on my Fist of Fury. Make sure that he can kite as freely as he wants to and not fall behind in pressure. Now this Rogue is kind of forced to kidney me with no Shadow Step. They kidney me here. He grips me a short distance expecting the bomb, but does avoid me taking damage from the Priest. And now he can push for the MCs. He starts casting a Smite. It's their Dark Arc, which we see. So he starts moving out of line of the Shadow or the Disc Priest again. I'm keeping a snare on the Rogue so he can't connect to my Priest whenever he wants to. I get MC'd. He purges it. I incap him. I rop the Rogue out of line of sight. Leg sweep. Image his fist. He grips into the rop. My Priest can look to push for the fear. We proc the evasion. They PS as well. I disarm on this to slow down the game. We get the full fear. The PS is still up. There's evasion's just about to end. I still have my Touch of Death, which I apply now. No evasion, no PS, no vanish, and I have images available with a big Fist of Fury here. Big Fist on this Rogue, the Todd proc, Dressgath, Rising Sun Kick, Whirling Dragon Punch, and down goes the Rogue. As you can see, all we're doing in this game is keeping my Priest alive, setting up my damage with an incap or a fear on the Priest, and cleanly landing our damage. It's pretty easy to win that matchup as Windwalker, as long as you guys are playing the proper strat. This last clip is another very common 2s comp that we're fighting. Destro Lock, Resto Druid. Now, Windwalker Disc does very well into Destro Locks with their double Dispel. However, Resto Druids that play offensively can create a lot of pressure. He pre-PS's this coil here on his leg sweep, the Warlock on his Trinket of the Fear, and I try to get some pressure out. The Druid opens into my Fist of Fury and has to Ironbark because of it. Even though I dressed into the Ironbark, I nearly kill, so it's okay for us to have used that dress there, only because of the amount of damage we got out and Dark Arc. We get Infernal stunned here. There's Thorns up. I don't want to hit into this. I roll out when the Thorns comes up. I put my Touch of Death up knowing there's no Ironbark. I have another Images. I Karma this Chaos Bolt. Images, Todd, Touch of Death, Karma. Force the wall. I rop him into the wall on his Unending Resolve. The Druid double Swift Mends to keep his lock alive at 1% health. And now has used almost 40% of his mana in the first minute of the game. Super, super big for us. I incap the Druid there. Priest pushes out to get the fear off, forcing the Trinket. In this scenario now, they have no Trinkets on their team, no wall, and no Ironbark. Full leg sweep on the Destro Lock forces out their next Ironbark. I don't have my kick available, so I'm going to get spammed feared here. And I'm hitting into the Thorns, probably a little too much here, but it's okay because of the amount of pressure we have. They War Stomp me here and CS my Priest, so I need to be aware of my positioning, not pushing out too far. I use my Rop to bring him back and interrupt the Chaos Bolt. Big passive damage with my Images. I incap the Druid. I can't stop this Chaos Bolt, but I can do big damage. My Priest pushes out to get the fear off the incap. I have a leg sweep coming up in 30 seconds, but our goal is to kill before then. The spam fears on me into the Shadow Fury on my Images is going to let them recover here, but the Druid has now used 70% of his mana in the first 2 minutes of the game, giving us a huge advantage going into dampening. I line here on these Chaos Bolts, seeing how far ahead we are. I know that they have Dark Soul coming back up in about 10 seconds from my Omnibar, so I want to get as much damage out before that as I can. I kick the Gateway to prevent him from running, get my passive damage off without my Images, without my burst. I have Karma available for the next Chaos Bolt on me. I leg sweep here, seeing that my Priest is bashed. He gets the full fear. Unfortunately, it misses the druid and just hits the pet. The druid thorns and Ironbark's here. They have Dark Soul coming back up. I kick the fear. I'm going to Karma this Chaos Bolt, and I'm going to kill them right through Ironbark. I incap the druid full. My priest can push out. He doesn't have a fear, but he pushes in for the damage, and we get the kill. That game's very clean from us. Incaps into fear on the druid. Consistent damage on the Destro Lock. Quick dispel so I can land interrupts on the spells that matter. And interrupting fear when it's my turn to do damage. I open up my damage there, and you can see I hit too much into Thorns, as I talked about in the video. But other than that, that was a very, very, very clean game out of me in Challengers. If you guys have any questions about any of these videos, make sure you guys drop a question in the comments or stop at my stream, twitch.tv/BamWillX, and I'll make sure to answer any questions, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.